Today we have something a bit more ambitious planned. Here is a junk lot of 4 original DS consoles from Japan. They are the aptly named Fat version. All of them will be rebuilt with brand new shells in a variety of colors. Then upgraded with Loopy's capture card and Loopy's controller mod. And then with my own developed Kouzex split module, we will control them all simultaneously with a single controller. The shells on all of these consoles are pretty rough, mainly due to the kind of plastic and paint used for them. They've gotten very brittle with age, hence the broken hinges and exposed board. However, all of their LCD screens are in great condition, so all of the damage on these lucky few is cosmetic, hopefully. This one has started to turn the same color as Winnie there. Expect a lot of the shell to disintegrate as we start opening it up. A lot of these hinge mechanisms likely have to be reset back to their neutral position before we insert them into their new shells. The original DS is not much more complicated to tear down as a Game Boy Advance SP. A lot of the design is quite similar, including the ribbon threaded through the middle of the hinge. We have 4 brand new shells from China. These newer versions are a near perfect fit compared to the shells produced only a few years ago. Now, which should we start with? How about the one with the exposed LCD connector PCB? The bottom shell doesn't seem too bad. The black ABS plastic holds up much better than the metallic painted lighter colors. Sounds like the disintegration has already begun. To tear down the console, first we unscrew the battery cover to remove the battery. Then we remove the 7 tri-wing screws, securing the bottom shell. Every single screw post here is falling apart with each snap. The last post is stuck and needs a little persuasion. To remove the motherboard, we must first detach all of the ribbon cables from their connectors. There are only 4, and the antenna plug. The 2 thick ribbons are for the top and bottom LCD panels. The 2 under the bottom LCD connector on the right are for the bottom screen's backlight and its touchscreen. The thick ribbons can sometimes be inserted quite tight. A small spin is all it took for this piece to fall off, the first of many. Now, with a few more snaps, we can remove the 4 screws holding in the motherboard. The bottom LCD and touchscreen ribbons must thread through the hole in the bottom right, and it's out. I tend to use the original button membranes, as they're often in good condition and feel more high quality than the new replacements, in my opinion. Upon removing all of the buttons, we detach the intermediary ribbon. These are sometimes very well adhered. Then we can remove the bottom screen. 1 screw holds in the ribbon cable cover, just like the GBA SP. And now we unthread the antenna cable and the ribbon from the bottom shell. You can see how easily this plastic gives way. Now we need this hinge, but oriented in the open position, as that is how we will reinsert it. Done. Upon removing the standard 4 rubber screw covers, or just 3, we can unscrew the top outer plate, or what's remaining of it. To unlatch the plastic clips, I run a fingernail along the seam and pull it up. This stuff snaps apart like a cold Lindt chocolate bar. Once again, we adjust the hinge so we can slide it out of the shell. After unscrewing the antenna and top LCD connector boards, we remove the speakers. Before removing the screens, let's clean up to ensure we don't scratch it or get anything trapped under the lens. This desk vacuum is more effective than it looks, honestly. Let's start with the Pokemon XY style red shell, which seems to be based off of the special edition original 3DS XL. We don't have to disconnect the ribbons as we are using the original functional screen. We can detach the adhesive from the top inner shell or remove the shell from the adhesive, and then insert it into our new shell. Don't forget the spacer on the bottom. I like to bend the pins up on the speakers to ensure good contact, as they've been pressed down over time and the shell can have spacing differences. With a quick dust to remove any specks, we can attach our new top screen lights. Next is the bottom inner shell. These shells also come with brand new buttons and a power LED diffuser. The digitizer here is in very good condition and just needs a solid clean before being placed in the new shell. One by one we thread the antenna and ribbon cable through the bottom shell and connect the two halves together with our hinges in the correct orientation. They can sometimes be a tight fit, but they snap in solidly here. To keep everything in place whilst the motherboard undergoes its upgrades, we attach the top outer plate and screw in the ribbon cable cover. Be careful not to over-tighten this. If over-tightened, it can pull this part of the shell into the touchscreen, causing it to either not function or always press in that position. The springs for the shoulder buttons have to be pressed in place before being inserted. Given the condition of the console, this motherboard looks unscathed. The three upgrades we are going to solder in are a new blue power LED, Loopy's USB-C capture card, which also charges the console, and Loopy's hardware controller mod. Take note of the direction of the LED, as they only function one way, as they are a diode, after all. The larger piece of metal inside the LED should be to the side to which the arrow points. To remove the LED, I find it easiest to heat up both sides and apply pressure with tweezers to coax it from its pads. Our new blue LED also has a marking on the back for the direction. Imagine the short horizontal line is pointing in the same direction as the arrow. These LEDs are tiny and can be damaged by the iron if the center is touched. Perfect. Now, the two flex boards. We are starting with the capture card flex. I like to tack down a few points to hold it in place before applying plenty of flux. Then, each point is soldered into a shiny silver dome for strength. There are two parts of the flex that must be bent to reach their connection points. Careful not to bend them too sharply, as it could break the wires inside the flex board. The other bent cables points have solder mask that must be removed. I like to use a mini Dremel to etch away the surface and expose the copper before tinning the points up and soldering the cable down. Next up is my own design flex board for the controller mod. I haven't actually installed this controller mod in an original DS before, so I drew up this flex board in CAD to make it a bit easier. All of these button points are much larger than those on a new 3DS XL, so we should have no problems. The controller mod board itself needs tinning up before we attach it to my flex board. Not all of the connections are used for the original DS, as this mod board is also compatible with the 3DS line, so it has connections for the thumbsticks and home button too. To avoid any damage when we solder in the mod board, I'm applying some UV resin to hold parts of the flex in place. The only two connections not in the flex are the power and ground lines. Let's solder them in first. Again, we tack the flex down before adding flux and soldering all of the button connections in place. That wasn't bad at all. Certainly faster than wiring each connection one by one. And she's all done. I've programmed this machine for a variety of console mods, as you would have seen in my and of course it's been programmed for the original DS as well. As this is my first time installing the controller mod on one, I had to program a new cut for the controller port location too. The kitten doesn't seem to be too amused, or is that just curiosity? Then we can switch jigs to cut the USB port. The consistency of this machine really saves a lot of headache compared to cutting these shells by hand. My plan is to insert the port just under the headphone jack, right here. It's all been measured, so it will fit. It will just need some epoxy adhesive to hold it in place securely. After it is dried, we can wire all 6 connections to the port. Loopy's controller mod is compatible with controllers from the SNES, N64, GameCube, Wii Classic, and PS1 and 2. But of course, the DS only has the same number of buttons as the SNES controller. I'm applying some electrical tape to ensure nothing shorts out after we close it up. Ask me how I learned that one a long time ago. With that all done, we can finally insert the upgraded motherboard into the new red shell and screw it down. All of the ribbons get reinserted into their connectors and the latch is closed. But we have another ribbon cable for the capture card now. So we stick down the card and then slide in its ribbon. An easily forgotten piece is this screw nut for the battery cover, which doesn't come pre-inserted. We have a few stickers to attach on this model, including the bottom serial label and rubber feet. Then we can screw in the top shell and add the rubber sticker screw covers, as well as the Nintendo emblem on the top plate. And the first console is done. There's no need to show the entire process again for the remaining 3, so I'll show some highlights. The gold console needs a new touchscreen as the original is severely scratched. The digitizer is just stuck onto the adhesive and is very easy to remove and replace. Much better. The motherboard is also a later revision CPU 20 model, which means that we can reflash the BIOS to allow for DS Lite style brightness controls. To do this, we have to bridge these 2 points to set it to flash mode. Then we can insert an R4 flash card with the FlashMe installer loaded. After closing it all up, we can test out the new functionality. The top level is so bright that the battery indicator turns red, since the battery level is quite low at the moment. I really like this blue colored shell. Genuine versions do exist in this color, but they are quite uncommon. The white bottom shell has a minor spacing issue. It's conflicting with the battery terminals. With a quick snip, we can get it lined up correctly. And that's the last of the 4. With them all done, we can finally conduct their final peel. The final piece of the build, the Kouzex split module. This 4X version has 4 outputs that duplicate the input from a SNES controller out to each console at the same time, and it's powered by USB-C. I've also previously built a 6X for a commission and a 3X. I've made 4 cables here to connect each of the consoles to the module via the new port for Loopy's controller mod. Here is the adapter cable for connecting the SNES controller to the module. Let's test it out. It's definitely working. Let's try some Mario Kart via DS Download Play. All of the buttons are fully functional, so let's make sure the capture cards are working too. In order to stream multiple consoles to the same PC like this, Each card must be plugged into separate USB controllers on the computer. Each card requires a decent amount of bandwidth, and if two conflict, then they won't show up. But everything is working perfect here. The question on a lot of people's minds right now is probably shiny Pokemon hunting. Let's boot up Pokemon Black 2 to see how well it works in-game whilst capturing. If you're interested in commissioning a setup just like this, send me a message on my Instagram. But keep in mind, this is an ambitious build and takes a lot of time and a variety of skills to put together. There it is, all movements synced across all 4 consoles whilst capturing. This is actually my first time playing Pokemon Black 2, but I have played the first one. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to click the like button and subscribe. I've got plenty more in the works and hopefully we'll get them out a bit quicker. And leave a comment down below of any questions you may have about this build, or if you have any ideas in mind for the next build I should do. In all, this is truly the ultimate DS4 console setup, with 2 of the consoles compatible with the upgraded brightness controls, and all of them rebuilt with brand new shells, Loopy's solid controller mod and capture card, and then tied together with my own split module. Goodbye.